Welcome out to the Nerd Effect News Show, week ending May 26th. It is Memorial Day, and I am one of your anchors, Dustin Vancour, joined by two of my cohorts,
Michael Morgan
and Mason Ireland.
Yay!
Can't do the
Still doesn't sound right without Nikki.
All right, well, Nikki is not here again this week because she is in a moving coma. At least that's her words.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, well-deserved moving coma. It was quite a bit of work she did.
yeah. I know what it's like to move quite regularly.
Oh, not
No
just
fun.
moving, but cleaning that place and patching the wall, and yeah, just everything.
Boy.
It was crazy.
So, Nikki, we hope you're resting well. We hope you enjoy the mayhem that is about to ensue. And hopefully, if you hear a thud against the microphone at any point given this podcast, that'll be Mason's forehead probably hitting the microphone.
Sound about like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Food-induced coma.
Yeah. I don't know why. It wasn't like a terribly large dinner.
And so you seem fairly spry on the way over here.
Yeah, and it just kind of kicked in, and I'm like,
Was it-
maybe it's the air conditioning.
Oh, that's true. It is nice in here.
Yeah.
Unlike outside. It's at least solid 10 to 15 degrees cooler where we're sitting compared to where it is outside. It's been getting up there this last few days. We've been in the low 80s lately, which...
It's about as hot as it needs to get, really.
Yeah, any hotter than this, and just... It's no longer
We're
enjoyable.
done. We're checking out.
Yeah.
Oh, beanie so.
Fuck you, desert weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who do we decide is going first? You?
I think we just decided I was, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do that.
So, here we go. Well, I'm gonna put my password in my phone again.
Oh.
God damn it. That's what you get when you have a phone that's on a Windows server network. Yeah,
they don't
forces
give you a
you
choice.
to. Yeah, you have to put a password in when you're on a. Fuck, help me out here.
Exchange.
Exchange. Thank you. I was ready to say passport, but that wasn't right.
No.
That's some other type of. That's like Wi-Fi stuff.
Yeah.
I think. Okay, so my news for this week is solar freaking roadways, and if you haven't seen this video floating around, it's a video that I don't know if it's TechCrunch, if they put it out specifically, or if it's the people who actually did the campaign. But it is amazing, and basically the idea behind this is you have these hexagonal panels that are all solar powered. They take all the energy from the sun and they convert it into energy. So the initial idea of it was that they just wanted these solar roadways to make it easy enough that you don't have to like worry about just melting the snow off of your roads. That way you don't have to worry about shoveling them.
Right.
But the idea of it has extended even further to the point it's like, well, we could use the energy that these panels harness to basically power everything around them.
Yep.
Including street lights, the actual lights on the panels themselves. So they have LEDs in them that you can actually, create the lines on the road with. So you're saving yourself paint, you're saving yourself tar and all that other gooky gawk that's floating around out there. The guy in the video says, finally our world will look like Tron.
Yes.
Which I thought was kind of cool.
Now if we can just get a constant Daft Punk soundtrack.
Oh,
yes.
The other ideas of it is it also offers early detection for things that might be in front of you. So if they're pressure sensitive, if like a wild animal rolls out onto the road and it can actually light up a warning signal in front of you on the road saying animal on road, 200 yards or something like that. That way you're aware of that when it happens.
Advanced warning that there's a moose in front of you.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing.
And if you've all seen Mythbusters, mooses don't actually glide over cars if you hit them fast. That's definitely a myth.
Mm-hmm.
They will go right through your fucking windshield.
Yeah.
And if they're still alive, will kick the shit out of you. Or horn the shit out of you, depending on which end ends up in your windshield.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Fair warning if you're in Alaska and hit a caribou.
Yes.
Well, it's gonna pwn your ass.
Yeah. They're also easily interchangeable. You almost literally just pop a panel out and replace it with another one. I'm sure you've seen, much like, well, not in this room specifically, but out in our hallways, we have paneled carpeting.
Yep.
You spill something on it, so it gets damaged, you pull up one panel and replace it with another. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. The video itself goes into some more detail, like almost even in regards to how it'll create jobs. There is some debate on whether or not it'll actually cause people to lose jobs, but I'm more in the line of adapt or die. Like, if you're a current road worker, adapt your work situation. Learn to do it. Otherwise, you'll just have to figure something else out. That sounds horrible and mean when I say it that way, but it's the same deal. I imagine they're not going to want anybody else doing this type of thing either. They're going to want road workers who they're going to want to train them to actually be able to do this, certify them, and make sure that they know what they're doing.
Anything that's going to, it makes their job somewhat easier for some things because they just go in and replace out the panels. But on the other side of that, if they need to actually dig up a sewer line or something, they don't have to worry about repaving it. They just pull up the panels,
right?
Do what they need to do, and then put the panels back.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Man, I'm just trying to think. Anyway, I was gonna say, go support their Indiegogo campaign. You still can, I imagine, but they've reached their goal of $1 million, which is what they were hoping for. The other positive thing about this little piece of news is that it's local. It's actually an Idaho concept. Granted, it's northern Idaho. You may as well be in Canada, but nonetheless, it's an Idaho concept, and goddamn it, I'm proud of us. There's been a lot of cool things lately that have been kind of coming out of our state, except for our gay bashing governor. But
yeah,
other than that,
the fact that the Idaho Republican debate went national.
Oh God, that was so horrible.
Oh, that was so.
The primary debate, it was fucking ended up on like Stephen Colbert and
with Harley Brown.
Yeah.
Do you remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait, you guys actually know who that is?
Yes.
Oh God, please tell me.
His stepdaughter,
I had no idea I knew somebody who knew this guy personally.
His stepdaughter, Katie, used to come into Cyberplace all the time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And occasionally he would show up. And when he showed up, made for some interesting times. Mostly it was the employees trying to scramble into the back and, threatening physical violence on each other, trying to not be the one to help him. Because he would sit there and talk to you forever.
Oh God, that is amazing. Yeah, and if you've ever worked in customer service, there's always that one customer that you just don't want to touch. But
there's a difference. There's some customers that are annoying. There are customers that really are incompetent at being customers. I mean, you've all seen those people. Whether you've worked in retail or not, you've seen those people who just don't know how to function correctly to buy something. But Harley wants to engage you for as long as possible on politics. Like, he specifically wants to talk politics with people all the time. And he did a pretty good job of controlling himself. He was a good boy on those debates because they were televised. So, yeah. This is the kind of politics we have to deal with in Idaho for the non-Idahoans out there. Yeah, look it up.
If you haven't seen the video already, it's amazing. It was aired on PBS here locally, and
so it's available. The unedited version is available for free.
Yeah, it's like an hour of craziness, but there is a 2.5-minute supercut out there that really all you need to watch, and it'll give you a good idea of what went down.
Yeah, and there was 5 candidates, and Harley's like 1.5 minutes of that thing.
There's 4
or 4, yeah.
It was like Russ.
I keep thinking the moderator because there was a 5th person, the moderator.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
There's Butch Otter, Russ Fulcher, I think.
Fulcher, I think so. I say.
And then the 2 crazies, the Harley, the guy that you mentioned, and then there's like some guy who looks like Moses, and he just whips out like Bible scriptures and just started reading them.
Yeah.
It was insane. Like, I don't know how that.
Welcome to Idaho.
Right. And it was all Butch Otter's idea too. He's like, if these guys want to run for governor, they have every right to be on the panel. Yes, we do. And then
He's correct. I mean, I can't.
I know.
You know, that's one of the things where he's correct about that. They have every right to, be in the debate just like Butch and Vulture did. They brought a whole load of crazy with them.
If they can afford that crazy, by all means,
yeah,
have at it. Oh, in a YouTube generation, I wonder how viral that could have gone in a non-internet society.
Not very far.
You think so?
I mean, national news might have picked it up when they heard about it because of public broadcasting, but it wouldn't have been anywhere near as huge.
Maybe made the Today Show once or twice and moved on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of like who was that? The senator they got caught soliciting sex in an airport bathroom.
Yep. The wide stance.
Yay, Idaho. Solar panels, those are fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. That's actually something decent to come out of this state, so go support it. I'll have the link to the TechCrunch article that was popped up here, and that link will have, if I remember, I'll put a direct link, but they do have an Indiegogo campaign, which they have reached, and if you want to help them out with that, you can obviously probably donate to that. And if I forget to put it up there, then it'll be in the article. So, anywho, that's my news. Mike?
Yay. Okay. So, open up phone, and what do I got here?
Random news. No.
Yay, random news. No, I have suspenseful news.
Ooh.
So, they are going to be opening up, doing basically humans in suspended animation. The methods that they're using is basically replacing the human blood with what temperature was it? Damn it. But basically it's a saline solution that's like freezing cold.
Right.
This is something that's only going to be used for patients that are in critical condition. So it's not like they're going to do volunteers for this type of thing. It's only going to be available for situations where somebody has injuries where they got like they said a 7% or less survivability chance. This gives them an ability to preserve them for longer, to allow them more time to save that patient's life. And that's the main idea for the testing at this point. Let's see.
So could somebody opt in for a disease that we don't have a cure for yet? Obviously that would be a 0% chance, I guess. So, never mind. So I guess, yes, that's the answer.
It's, at this point, it doesn't look like it's going to be a long-term solution. At the most, what we've seen is people that have survived like up to 24 days without food or water in a hypothermic hibernation. And that's kind of like the longest one right now that they've got on record. So they've got at least one person that has survived 24 days in a hypothermic hibernation, which is a little different than what they're talking about doing here. So the term they're using for this is going to be emergency preservation and resuscitation, because apparently suspended animation sounds a little too sci-fi and they want to keep it a real world term. And they have done tests on pigs. So basically take a pig, basically do a artery cut with a scalpel, and then they replace the pig's blood with the saline, which lowered the body temperatures to 10 degrees Celsius.
That's pretty fucking cold.
Yeah. So all of the control pigs whose body temperatures was left alone died. So basically the ones that didn't freeze.
Right.
The pigs who were warmed back up at a medium speed demonstrated a 90% survivability rate. And although some of them had to give the hearts a jump start. Pigs that were warmed up slow or fast had a 50 and 30% survivability rate, respectively. And afterwards, the pigs demonstrated no physical or cognitive impairment.
So they're not brain dead?
Correct.
Right.
Interesting. So that, because I mean, you're pushing out all the blood from the body and replacing it with this saline solution.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then dropping the body temperature to 10 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
Yes.
So instead of applying an outside source of cold, they're applying it internally. Is the idea.
I'm just trying to figure out the concept of not dying without blood.
If your body temperature is reduced that low, it reduces the need for oxygen to your cells.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you no longer need oxygen for your cells is the thing there. And also, and just for note, these initial uses of it, their idea is they're not going to have the body into suspended animation for more than a few hours. So basically, it's an emergency procedure to give, paramedics time that they need to be able to save that life.
Mm.
And, yeah, I mean, if it's going to be more than a few hours, they're probably not going to make it.
Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much everything for that story.
Science!
Science!
So yeah, that's fucking crazy. So it's not like Demolition Man where they drop you into a pool of water and then
No.
and jet freeze it.
No.
Oh. Well, that'd be funny. I really want to watch Demolition Man again now.
Yeah. But if you think of it this way, actually, no, my analogy sucked. But
All right, I won't.
you can think of it in terms of, like, if you had... See, I keep trying to think of ways to put this into something other than the human body, but I'm just not coming up with anything good. I mean, I'm almost thinking in terms of, like, thinking about an AC unit that's, instead of being wrapped around outside something, it goes inside something. Does that make sense?
I mean, it does. I mean,
Yeah.
I get the concept. No blood usually means death, so that's kind of that's the part that's throwing me off.
It's replacing the blood temporarily, and because it's a super cool liquid, it basically removes the body's need for the oxygen from the blood.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it. I really do. It's just the idea of it's just funky to me, I guess.
Yeah,
Trip
and
to Funky
if
Town.
you're in a situation
Yeah.
where they're
Yeah,
doing this to you, you're pretty much a goner anyway. So it's like there's
True.
not much left to lose. So you might as well do it and give them the best chance to
Save you as
save your
possible.
butts.
Yeah.
Word. All right. Well, that's that. Freeze your ass
Yes.
and hope to win. Basically,
FTW, freeze to win.
Oh my god, yes.
it's
So much wind.
like that was the other thought that crossed my brain too. Is like I'm pretty sure that's how Mr. Freeze started in a way. If, so if anybody comes out of this with bad puns and a freeze rate, talking like Arnold Schwarzenegger, just run.
Because it's not a rumor.
It's not a room. Hold on, everybody. Freeze.
Okay, we need to kill this one. Mason, go.
But it's too cool. Okay, I'll stop. I'm sorry. So, thought humans were the only ones who could plan ahead and make and stuff like that. Well, you're probably wrong. Turns out that some research that a team of anthropologists from the University of Zurich has been doing has now has evidence to support the idea that orangutans have the capability to possibly perceive the future as humans do, or somewhat like humans do. Throughout the day, every couple of hours, male orangs will emit a call. They'll vocalize. And these shouts, will let the females who they mate with and protect know where they are so they can come towards him if they need to. And also will warn other males off of their territory. And these vocalizations have been known for quite a while. And they've known pretty much what they were for quite a while. However, as the males get ready to go to sleep, they will emit a long, 80-second, they say here, long call that they only do basically at bedtime. And they will actually vocalize it specifically in the direction they plan on going the next morning. And the females will also bed down at that time and then head in that same direction the next morning. So, yeah. We're not 100% certain that they are really cognizant of the future or whatnot, but this is fairly high functioning, requiring forethought to kind of do this kind of thing. And there are other primates that give human-like responses to things. For example, capuchin monkeys seem to have a sense of fairness because when you make them do something, they won't accept a lesser food reward for doing it than the other monkeys are getting. So if you give one of them half a banana for doing something, the other capuchin monkeys that see him get half a banana will start wanting half a banana for doing the same thing. Rhesus macaques will not, in this example, there was an example where they could pull on a chain and it would bring food to them, but they had recordings of rhesus monkeys screaming, in pain, basically, or some stress streams. And if the monkeys that they would pull that chain and then they would play that sound, the monkeys would stop pulling the chain and would not pull the chain if they thought another rhesus macaque was getting injured by them pulling the chain. So, yeah. And then bonobos, orangutans, and chimps all make tools, and bonobos and orangs actually will save and hold on to their tools, and you can retrieve them for later use for food recovery and stuff. So if you're making a tool and then keeping it for later, that's also showing a pretty good idea of forethought. Even if you produce the tool to use it immediately, you don't then just discard the tool. You'll save it and use it again for the same purpose later. That's pretty good forethought. So it looks like, yet again, our relatively close cousins are pretty awesome at doing stuff similar to what we do.
Nah. Wonder how that vocalization would work at the bars.
Probably not.
It's really fun to try.
Go for it.
Just do it with them unwittingly. I know.
Oh, yeah. Some guy starts getting close to this chick I'm talking to, and I start making vocalizations.
I think it might scare
the
both of them off, is the thing.
Yeah, well.
Just going to put that out there.
Waving your arms around like this. And
that was Dustin waving his arms above his head for the reference of the audience who can't see the podcast.
And then beating your chest.
Yeah.
And you go back over to talk to the chick just like nothing ever happened. Epic. Anyway.
And she also leaves and doesn't talk to you anymore, but... Yeah.
Or she senses his deep inner primal instincts and finds it attractive.
Monkey tits. No, wait.
Oh,
wait,
Jesus.
Sorry.
Taking it back around.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Any other miscellaneous news off the top of your guys' head?
Watch Dogs comes out tomorrow on May 27th.
Ooh.
Yes.
I am so excited.
This,
I'm going to be hexering Chicago.
this may or may not go up before then, but
Probably won't. But
yeah. So for those, I mean, as soon as you hear this, for those of you who are wondering why this might be a day late, we're recording on Monday instead of our usual Sunday, just because plans tended to work out better that way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Plus, I had things to do, like
Things
go see
happen.
X-Men.
Life happens. Yes. So no spoilers, but how is it? Recommend, yay, nay?
Total recommend. I mean, if you've seen the other ones, then yeah, for sure.
it can't be worse than 3.
No. 3 was.
Yeah, it was looking pretty cool. So
It is really cool, and the idea of it's awesome.
plus they got the dwarf guy.
Yes,
Tyrion's in it.
Yeah. Or Peter Dinklage, if you want the actor's name.
Yeah.
I saw that in the preview, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Jennifer Lawrence is still hot and all blue.
Mm-hmm.
That was a given.
Yeah, that's never going to change.
A lot of. I don't want to be spoilery at all, but it's awesome. The end of it is the ending is worth the price of admission. I think the bonus, because Jen was worried about, because she hadn't seen X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
So she was wondering if that was going to, take away from the story from her, if she didn't know certain things. I've seen X-Men First Class. There's definitely some stuff they hinted at, but I think they were good about kind of semi-explaining what had happened. So
Okay.
I don't think it's necessary, but it will definitely give you some good foresight into what to expect. Like, why is Charles Xavier a drunk asshole at the beginning of this movie? I don't know. But they kind of explain as to why. But anywho, yeah, X-Men Days of Future Past. Go see it if you haven't. It's good times for sure. We did it on a late night. Quick food review.
Yes.
Went to a local restaurant here in town called Lucky Finn's, where the bistro used to be.
Yeah.
In by 8th and little marketplace area.
Yeah.
Great atmosphere. Food was only so. I was kind of disappointed because it seemed like it was going to be fairly good, but
Just ended up being kind of average.
yeah, nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
Like I got the Jen got lobster mac and cheese, which sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of bland, like the unsalted and just
That's. I think that's one of the problems that like a lot of restaurants are having nowadays, is that they're so like. I mean, if you talk to any like old school cook, any cook that's in their 30s or later, they'll tell you if you want to eat healthy, don't go to a restaurant, because the first two things restaurants add to any recipe are butter and salt. Because butter and salt both do the same thing. They make shit taste good. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if you put too much salt in, it just becomes salty. But like, Noodles and Company down on Milwaukee, for example, like when they first opened up, they were pretty good. Like their pad thai was really good. Their mac and cheese was pretty good.
Yeah,
like,
I went to the one on Eagle Road,
but like the last couple times I'd gone there, like everything had gotten bland. And there's a really easy explanation for it. No salt. And, like, I get people wanting to be healthier and stuff, but, like, when I go to a restaurant, I'm generally not too terribly concerned about, is this healthy for me? Mm-hmm. Because I don't go to restaurants that often. I tend to, eat at home. It's less expensive.
and if you're a smart restaurant, you'll have healthy options on the
Right,
menu.
you'll have healthy options on the menu, but also you'll have food with flavor for people who go to a restaurant because they want something that tastes good. And it's simple. It's really simple. You add butter and salt.
I had
That should be a restaurant. butter and salt. And you go there and you want your healthy options. Well, we got the rabbit bitch menu right here for you.
Yeah.
Everything else, butter and salt.
just call it hardened veins.
Yes.
I had the beer battered. It was just salmon and chips, so it was like the French fries were really good. I'll give them that. I mean, they were like a battered French fry of some sort, and
Those are, yeah.
and the beer battered salmon is what I had, and it was deep fried like fish and chips, but salmon and chips. And it was all right. Like I was expecting better. Like the friggin' Big Bun up here on Overland and Curtis.
Yeah. They do better fish and chips?
Better salmon and chips.
Specifically? Okay.
For like $6 cheaper. And it was, they cut the salmon up into cubes and then deep fry them so that you can eat them with your fingers. And it is awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you fuck that up, but.
Not enough butter and salt. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean,
but it's deep fried.
Right. But if you don't put enough salt in it, it still doesn't have any taste.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you watch like chefs make a batter, they're like, and you put in some salt into the flour, and then you put in the wet ingredients, you put in some salt, and you mix it up, and you throw a little more salt in. You know,
most of the time it's not. You don't even have to have a lot.
No,
like a quarter teaspoon will do you.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like with salt, like. One, it helps food taste basically more like itself until you get too much. Mm-hmm. And it's, you have to learn when to say stop on salt because it is easy to go too far with salt and then food just becomes salty. But also, we need salt to live, so it is okay to eat salt occasionally.
I think there was actually a new study too, Jen had read, saying that the amount of salt that was labeled as healthy they had determined that you can actually eat more salt than what had been currently labeled by the FDA.
Yeah.
Have it considered healthy. It's like almost twice.
Yeah.
So, salt not too horrible for you as once thought.
Yeah. And
it will dehydrate the shit out of you.
Well, that's the thing is that, with salt, because salt will dehydrate you, you just have to have liquids to go with it,
or beer.
Beer has alcohol.
Which has salt.
Well, beer has alcohol in it. Alcohol dehydrates you. But
more beer. Problem solved.
Just have beer to solve your beer problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Beer, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems. That's Homer Simpson. Quite.
You get enough beer, you pass out. You're done. It's good.
Oh, okay. But assuming you don't want to pass out and dehydrate to death.
And wake up with a mad hangover.
Yeah, and wake up with a mad hangover.
Pile of your own vomit.
Just because it's liquid doesn't mean it's water.
That's one of my fondest memories of being at the bistro, actually. All the times I threw up there.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it doesn't even have to be water. It just has to be a hydrating liquid. That could be Gatorade, water, juice, any soda without caffeine in it.
Pedialyte.
Pedialyte is flavorless reblended Gatorade.
I find the sports drinks do really good.
Yeah. Well, sports drinks, Gatorade is called Gatorade because it was invented in Florida for the Florida Gators.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if you ever drink Gatorade, drink it when you're really well hydrated and see what it tastes like. And then drink it again when, right after you've worked out or have, been outside when it's hot, so you sweated a lot, so you're a little bit dehydrated. Gatorade tastes a whole hell of a lot better when you're dehydrated.
Mm-hmm. It actually tastes a little bit salty if you're dehydrated. There's
if you're hydrated.
Yeah. If you don't really need it, you're just drinking it to be drinking it, there's actually just on the tip of your taste buds, kind of salty flavor to it.
Yeah. But that salty flavor turns into, oh God, this is the greatest thing on the planet when you're dehydrated.
Yep.
So, but it's, again, you need you need salt in your system because if you have too much, it dehydrates you, but you need it to keep liquids in your system to keep you hydrated. Yeah.
This doesn't mean go pound a bucket of fries.
No.
But feel free to be a little liberal with your shaker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be as paranoid as...
Yeah.
And then drink more beer. No, wait. I am not an alcoholic. Shut up. Now just staring at me blankly.
I know this is the look of accusation right here. Just...
I can't afford to be an alcoholic.
Yeah, actually, alcoholism is a pretty expensive habit, so...
Not much more expensive than smoking.
Yeah, beers cost you a lot more than cigarettes.
Yeah.
I guess if you're buying a 12-pack a day...
Most people who would be, like, alcoholics are doing at least a 12-pack a day.
Mm-hmm.
So...
yeah.
So... You know, and if you're going through, like, a bottle of Jack a day, that's even more expensive.
Yeah. That's
like 25. That's like $25.
That's like a pint or a quart of Jack, maybe.
A fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've seen. You know what the sad thing is? I only know how much Jack costs by the gallon because that's the only time I've ever bought it. Or is it a half gallon?
Half gallon. Probably a half gallon.
But it was it was the annual Vancouver family vacation, so it got distributed. But I mean, it was like $40 or something like that for the half a gallon. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is ridiculous. Why would anybody spend this much on alcohol? Oh, right, because that's why.
Yeah.
And because you get drunk and... Anyway.
Well, I'm not sure on Jack why you'd spend that much, but like...
I am fucking weak when it comes to alcohol, man. First off, rum is awesome.
Yes.
I did find out that I do semi-like whiskey, but I took 2 shots of whiskey, ended up with the worst migraine I've had in years. And that was a few years ago, so probably won't do that again.
You know, well, one, you got to make sure it's Irish whiskey, and if it was Irish whiskey, that's okay. It's just the Irish whiskey telling you you're not strong enough for it. You're not enough of a man to drink whiskey.
Yeah, but I can look whiskey straight in the eye and say, yeah, you're right. I'm not strong enough.
I thought it tasted good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, whiskey's got some hella good flavor.
Yeah, and then, you know, I like my whiskey and my rum, and I also like my absinthe.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Nerd Effect Food and Booze Hour.
Yeah. Sorry you weren't here, Nikki.
Yeah, sorry.
Lol.
All right. Well, we've probably recorded long enough for a good news segment.
Sure.
And some helpful, and a movie review, and a game announcement.
Yes.
And
I will probably be putting up a review of Watch Dogs.
You're gonna put up a blog?
Yeah.
Oh, yay. Ethan's gonna blog.
Yep.
Of course, I haven't even done that yet, now that I think about it.
No, you haven't.
I'm just so used to being, you know, the guy posting all the shows.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's okay. Yeah, I've been actually, I have to wait until after our next initiative game before I can post my next blog. Because everything I got for the next blog's part of the next adventure. Yeah, it's all spoilery if I do it now, so I gotta wait.
Okay.
Gotcha. Oh, by the way, I would like to give a shout out to a closet fan of ours. I don't know if I brought this up last time, did I?
You told us.
Jeff, hi.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff. But yeah, he's listened to every show so far and made it very clear that he likes our show.
Sweet.
At a
Always love to hear
friend's
that.
wedding recently. So, thanks, Jeff. Love you,
Yep.
buddy.
Thanks, Jeff.
You should write in sometime.
Oh my god, yeah. Feedback at nerdeffect.com.
Jesus, when was the last time we read any feedback on this show?
I don't know, but you had to have an internet connection.
Well, I got my phone.
Okay. Has no one emailed us? Not even the couple?
Nobody's emailed us in a while.
Oh. I has the sads.
Oh no. So for those of you trying to cure Mason's SADS, email us feedback at nerdeffect.com, or if you'd like to, you know, give Mason a digital hug, email him at mason@nerdeffect.com. He'll love you a long time. I think.
Or at least I'll love Dustin a long time, one or the other.
Oui.
Depends on how much you bribe him. And actually, for that, probably not much of a bribe.
Oh, I
either.
believe for my ex-girlfriend it was $20, if I remember correctly.
Hey, I used that to buy you dinner.
That's true. At least you bought me dinner afterwards. See, Mason's a good date. He'll face rape you and then buy you dinner. Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you guys can just chew on that for a while, and we'll see you next Nerd News Show. So, for the Nerd Effect News Show, I have been Dustin Vancouver with my boys.
Michael Morgan.
And Mason Ireland.
And we'll catch you guys next week.